The Dodd-Frank law may not prevent more consolidation. In fact, it could make banks yet even bigger. Bloomberg's Lizzie O'Leary has our exclusive analysis. Lizzie.
Hey, Deirdre. Well, think about this. Since the U.S. financial crisis and the global financial crisis, the U.S. banking sector has grown 7 times faster than GDP. When you look at the end of this year, the top 10 U.S. banks held 77% of the country's assets. Now, we want to walk you through, of course, how it happened. We all remember this from 2008. Mega banks were a direct product of the financial crisis. Distressed pricing, government backstops let those big banks buy cheap. JPM, of course, got WAMU and Bear Stearns. We saw them go in there. Bank of America got Countrywide and Merrill Lynch. Wells Fargo got Wachovia. Now, Citi, we know, made no acquisitions, but when you add up the 5 biggest banks you are talking about and throw Goldman Sachs in there, that's almost 60% of the financial system's assets. Now, part of the government logic, of course, is that these banks were systemically significant, and in some ways, the law merely codifies that. Any bank with more than $50 billion is now statistically significant. There are 35 of them now.
All Dodd-Frank bill did was institutionalize too big to fail. And the other issue is that you create such a regulatory environment that only the big banks can maneuver through it.
And here's the thing. The number of too big to fail banks could grow by nearly 40% over the next 15 years. That would mean that 48 banks would become systemically significant. Now, the backstops in the law are supposed to ensure that we can't see mega bank mergers anymore. A bank cannot hold more than 10% of the liabilities in the entire system. But there are 2 big holes here. Number one, these banks are still huge. B of A, for example, would have to double in size to hit the 10% limit. And those limits can be waived in a crisis, which means that if things get scary again, even more consolidation could come out of another crisis, Deirdre.
Lizzie, thanks very much. Lizzie O'Leary joining us there from D.C.